beginning, Old Persia was ruled by a greedy Shah who led his country down a path to poverty from which they could never recover.
I'm Nasir al-Din Shah. I'm such a Tiliwonki. I have 1,600 wives.
This made Persia vulnerable to exploitation by Baron Julius de Ruyter, a businessman.
Shah, I'd really like some of your minerals. Plus, I'll pay.
Money? Yeah, sure.
But the Shah didn't just sell oil. De Ruyter effectively bought out control of Persia's irrigation, infrastructure, and industry, after which he sold it all to England. Following the assassination of the Shah, Muzaffar came into power. The state of the people was unrest, and there was a rebellion under Muzaffar, after which the Majlis, the democratic parliament of Iran, was formed and lasted from 1905 to 1906. Although the people could have been thriving, the Shah sold out to another greedy entrepreneur, William Knox d'Arcy.
Oh, sure, I'll pay Iran 16% of the profits from the oil I find.
Ooh, is that oil I see, Darcy? Well, great work. We'll buy it all for £2 million and start the Anglo-Persian Oil Company,
said England.
I'm rich.
From now on, we are going to run Iran our way. By keeping the Iranians devoid of oil knowledge, we can get even more out of them. Since World War II is going on, the demand for oil is expedited, and we're getting rich, rich, rich.
England convinced the Shah to sign the APOC agreement after World War I and effectively signed over Iran's treasury, military, and resources, even installing a puppet leader, Reza Shah Pahlavi.
I'm a Tiliwonki and I love you, England. Stay as long from 1931 until 1961.
A dissident of Reza Shah was Mohammad Mossadegh, a patriot and leader who wanted to nationalize oil and instate democracy in Iran. When Reza Shah's son, Mohammad Reza Shah, came into rule, he was not well liked and claimed divine intervention after an attempt on his life, which he used to grab at power.
The Majlis now has new rules. 1. I will appoint 50% of the reps. 2. I can dissolve the Majlis at any time. And 3. I will elect the Prime Minister.
Although the attempt at democracy had failed, the Shah and the British were rolling in oil profits, and the people continued to suffer. Mossadegh seized on the upset of the people, and Majlis appointed him Prime Minister in 1949. The National Oil Company was founded in 1952. Britain was angry at the nationalization of oil. The Iranians liked Mossadegh, unlike the Shah, because he cared for them.
Yay!
The British then came up with a great idea.
How about we create a secret network to plan a coup and overthrow that Dillywonky Mossadegh?
They planned to replace Mossadegh with Fazollah Zahedi, a general who had a bad reputation but was good for the cause. Then they came up with Operation Ajax with the help of American Kermit Roosevelt to do a couple of things. First, they would turn the public against Mossadegh. Then they would stage attacks on religious leaders ordered by Mossadegh. Then they would have Zahedi bribe other officers to carry out the coup and influence key people. And afterwards, on coup day, there would be a massive anti-government rally. Churchill, the big boss of Britain, asked his friend President Truman for help.
Help me! Please, please, please!
No, I like Mossadegh. You guys are such Tiliwonkis.
Too bad that Truman didn't get a say. His term came to an end, and Eisenhower was elected the new president. At first, Eisenhower was unsure of the plan, but he was persuaded by the Dulles brothers, twin intelligence experts, who were Secretary of State and Head of State at the time, head of CIA. Unfortunately, Operation Ajax failed, but Roosevelt refused to quit. He tried one more time. This time, he would distribute firmans, make Mossadegh look bad, and control the mass media and the propaganda. The tide turned, and the Iranians fell for Operation Ajax and came to hate Mossadegh.
Long live the Shah!
Death to Mossadegh!
Mossadegh lost, and Zahedi was temporarily in power. Mossadegh was jailed for a few years and put under lifetime house arrest.
After Mossadegh was officially deposed and sentenced to prison, Mohammad Reza Shah made Mossadegh seem like a person that no one could talk about. The little things that could be published about him was not at all positive. When Reza Shah allowed one rally where each speaker could mention Mossadegh's name only once, 100,000 people turned out to cheer for Mossadegh in that one chance that was given to them. The people, realizing that Mossadegh had been a true leader compared to the dictatorial Reza Shah, was left vulnerable. Political dissent was repressed, especially for the liberal and national group National Front and the Communist Two-Day Party, and the concentration of political power all went to the Shah and his courtiers.
An example of political dissent is the White Revolution. In this, cleric Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini criticized the regime in his sermons and articles. He opposed pro-American relations and Iran's sale of oil to Israel. Not only that, but also Iran's failure to support poor Iranians. Now, the White Revolution wasn't actually a revolution, it was mostly just a series of reforms that involved redistributing lands to peasant farmers and sharecroppers. The consequences of this was it took away land from wealthy farmers as well as the ulama, who used the land to support religious schools and mosques. 75% of peasants did not receive enough land even to reach a level of subsistence. Many migrated to growing cities in Iran as a result. The White Revolution also gave women the right to vote in an attempt to be more American structured. As well as this, it also created the Liberty Corps, which was part of the Shah's drive to modernize Iran by increasing education. The Shah's family also took millions of dollars from the Iranian government revenues for its own use, selfishly. Khomeini was angered by the Shah's increasingly pro-American efforts and declared the Shah an enemy of Islam and a ruler who was unconcerned with the welfare of the Iranian people. Eventually, the Shah put Khomeini to exile to Iraq. Enraged at the Shah's luxurious lifestyle and lack of concern, small groups started to form in dissent, with different ideals for a new government. In 1975, the Shah decreed that Iran would have a single political party, and all dissenters would be traitors or communists.
The Shah renegotiated terms for oil. Iran would receive 50% of oil revenues. The coup d'etat was a critical event in post-war world history that destroyed Iran's secular parliamentary democracy by reinstalling the monarchy of the Shah, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, as an authoritarian ruler. This coup significantly influenced the 1979 Iranian Revolution, which deposed the pro-Western Shah and replaced a monarchy with an anti-American Islamic Republic. People's political beliefs and foundations were shattered and made vulnerable. These multiple coup attempts led to a facade of chaos, such as the Guatemala coup. Iran also got wrapped up in state-sponsored terrorism, such as the Hamas and the Hezbollah, and these events inspired hatred for the U.S., since everyone realizes the U.S. was to blame a few years after, leading to Argo in 1979, an anti-U.S. revolution. British loses power as a result, and the U.S. takes over as a supporter of Iran and makes way for the Islamists to take control.